Cece, I'm sorry I'm late. I rushed out of the house without the specs of the fundraiser. So what do you think? An all-out fundraiser at Christmas time for the children orthopedics. All same mix. Reindeer, Santa's workshop, that sort of thing. So, Cece, what do you think? Huh? Well, at least say ho.
Micah, sit down a minute. Sit down. You know anything about drug abuse, drug addiction, that sort of thing?
Well, pharmacology is not my expertise. I'm a neurologist.
But you can tell if somebody's hooked on something? A controlled substance, prescription drug? You know what signs to look for?
Well, that depends on the individual. I mean, you may see uncharacteristic mood swings, behavioral changes, eating and sleeping habits. Is this someone a friend of yours?
No, it's an employee of mine, one of my employees, that's all.
And you suspect they're having a drug problem?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking you.
Well, I can't give you a diagnosis until I've seen the patient. But I assume your people have medical coverage. What my suggestion would be to you is to encourage them to seek the necessary help. Oh, excuse me, I'm handed. Gotta get back to the hospital. I tell you what, could you look over this prospectus at your leisure, and then possibly you'll have some recommendations for me, okay?
Sure.
If this person is having a problem, I would suggest not to let it slide.
Thank you.
Oh, no! I can't believe I did that. Look what I did. Oh, what? It's just, it's all over everything.
No, it's not. It's just water. What is the big deal?
It's on my dress. It's ruined. It's on my handbag.
It's going to dry
it's
just
ruined.
fine. It's just water, Mom.
I don't like you talking to me in that tone of voice. It's very patronizing. You are my daughter. I am your mother.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's just, forget all about it, all right? Have a nice breakfast.
No,
Okay.
thank you. I don't think I want anything. You go ahead. Put anything you want. Like to have.
Mom.
I'm not hungry.
Oh,
I'll
come on,
talk to you
please.
later. Excuse me.
Mom.
Do you know what's going on with your mother?
I wish I did, Daddy.
Wish to God I didn't.
You're late.
You're early by about 6 weeks, Julia. Until you're sworn in, I am still judge, and these are still my chambers. After that, you can move in lock, stock, and pantyhose.
I didn't come here to see if the robe fits, Mason. I came here about the Walker case. I'm moving for mistrial.
Afraid you're going to set a precedent and lose?
No, I'm afraid B J can't win. How do I know that your bitterness over my winning the election won't prejudice you against my client?
You don't seriously doubt my ability to remain impartial.
If the robe fits.
Let me see if I understand everything. You want me to plead guilty? Confess to killing Frank, even if I don't remember if I did or not?
I think it might be the best defense. It might just be the only defense that will allow you to walk away from here.
Explain that. If I say that I shot Frank, the jury is going to convict me of first-degree murder, and I'm going to jail.
Not necessarily. There's such a thing as justifiable homicide. Back in Florida, I was working on a case where the woman was on trial for murdering her husband. I was called in as an expert, and we were able to come up with well-documented, extensive evidence of a history of the husband physically, mentally, and verbally abusing the accused.
So technically, she was guilty of the murder. But the jury ruled that it was justified because of the pain and suffering she'd endured at the hands of her husband all those years. They let her go.
Yeah, but it's still just my word that Frank did what he did.
Honey, I promise you we'll pull this story together. All you have to do is get up on that witness stand and tell your story. Tell what it was like to have to keep that secret for 10 long years. And then we'll have Julia put your mom on the stand, and she'll testify that Frank shot Cruz and left the two of them in that warehouse to die. And that he let you believe they were dead.
And then you tell him what it was like to be holed up in that motel room with Frank. You tell him about the shape you were in when we found you, the fallout from the pain and the fear and the isolation. The jury's going to sympathize with you, B J. They're going to understand why you pulled that trigger if it was the only way to stop him.
That what they teach you in the police academy, that sometimes a bullet's the only way to settle things?
Sometimes it's unavoidable. I look at what that slimed into our family. I can't tell you the number of times I wish Frank Goodman was still alive so that I could kill him myself. It came down to you and him, BJ. You picked you. That's not a crime.
If you plead guilty now, because of extreme emotional duress, I'm convinced that Julia will be able to get you a reduced sentence. Maybe even community service.
What would you do, Dad?
I can't answer that for you, honey. Because ultimately it's your decision. But while you're making up your mind, I want you to think about this. Frank Goodman claimed the last 10 years of your life. I think it's time you stopped paying for what he did to you.
If she pleads guilty, she's going to be paying for this death for the rest of her life. And I'm not going to let her do that.
Hello, may I help you?
I'm just browsing, actually.
Mr. Lockridge. Where's Gina?
Gina got called away. She couldn't make her appointment. Yeah.
Well, you know, Don Amici invented the telephone for just such emergencies. Oh, but I'm forgetting. You're still newlyweds. I mean, bend it over backwards and sideways for your beloved.
Are you married, Riley?
Divorced. 3 separate shrews, 3 separate alimony checks. I tell you, I'm up to me henna rinse in hock just to keep those 3 she-wolves at bay. Oh, but you're lucky, you see, because your Gina's not like that. She's what me mam used to call real people.
She's a treasure, that she is.
Well, I tell you what to do. Tell her I'll put her down in my book for the same time next week.
Riley, hang on a minute. Listen, do you suppose I could take her appointment?
You?
Yes. I would like a...
Well, you could use a little bit of a trim.
A trim? Listen, I would like a total sprucing up job, you know. Touch up the gray, a massage, a pedicure, a manicure, a total cure. You think that can work?
In other words, you want the works?
Yes, the works.
The works. I see. Well, that would be Lola.
Lola?
Lola. Lola. Lola.
Hi, I'm Lola.
You're Lola. Yeah. Listen, could excuse us just for a second. Could I talk to you for a minute? Listen, I do need a sprucing up and everything, but if Lola runs her fingers through my hair, it'll be Gina's hands around my throat.
Okay. Say no more, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Lola will take good care of you, and Gina will be none the wiser.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever Lola wants. Lola, when you talk about this, and you will, lie.
Gina, you here?
Call off your eyebrows, Riley. If you look in the book, you'll notice I have an appointment.
Yes, I know. Well, all right. Why don't you come with me?
Why? Your station's right there.
Well, I thought I'd alternate. I've been in a bit of a rut lately.
Really? Well, so have I. You see, that's why I'm here. I want a whole new look. A manicure, a pedicure, a facial, a body wave, a whole new me. Just because a girl's married doesn't mean she can let herself go. After all, there's a lot of competition out there.
Well, I don't think you have to worry about that.
You don't know the half of it. Well, we better get started. Okay, let's go to work. I can't wait until Lionel gets a load of the whole new me.
Well, if you've made up your mind to move for a mistrial, I can't dissuade you.
But you'll try for old time's sake.
Don't try to second-guess me, Julia. It's within your rights, in fact, you're duty-bound to act in the best interests of your client.
Correct. There is only one agenda here, and that is to see that B J Walker gets a fair trial.
That's the prima facie agenda, the one we lay on the table and discuss in reasoned, measured tones. There's another agenda hiding underneath the table. The one that presupposes you no longer trust me to render an equitable judgment in this case. Is that the case in this case?
In 100 words or less.
I see. Well, then, we do have a problem. Perhaps an insoluble one. In the travelogue that is our shared history together, Julie, we've traversed molehills to mountaintops and back again. Not always with great ease, but... or even sure-footedness. But with the certainty that we would catch each other should one of us fall. Now, in this ascent, the air's thinning. Cliff is sheer. Drop bottomless. Your palm seems to be sheathed in doubt and mistrust. The next sound you will hear might be me rappelling down the mountain without a net.
Yodelay-hee-hoo. Don't get me wrong. I'm taken with the Alpine theatrics. All it's missing is a Saint Bernard. But then we are not here to discuss the hills and chasms of our private life. We're here to talk about B J Walker.
That and your very hurtful assumption that I would sabotage this case just to get at you. Julia, when I make a ruling in favor of the prosecution, it's based on a particular point of law, not the cult of personality. Now, if you think that you're losing ground, I suggest you try to reclaim it instead of using me as a scapegoat and suggesting that we go to a mistrial.
Is that all?
Oh, there is one more thing. If you do move for a mistrial, by the time a new judge is assigned, a new jury selected, the court date cleared, you will be sitting on the bench yourself. And B J Walker will never find a more competent and, may I say, more beautiful defense attorney than the one who's fighting for her right now. And doing a hell of a job.
You don't fight fair.
Take a lesson.
I'll see you in court, Mason.
I'm sorry?
I'll see you in court, Your Honor.
BJ, if you do what they want and plead guilty, it'll be the same thing as giving up on yourself.
Warren, that's not fair. May I speak to you a moment, please?
Mom, whatever you have to say, it concerns me, and I have a right to hear it.
All right, that's fair. Warren, we understand that you just have BJ's best interest at heart, but you have to understand what we're going through right now, too. We don't want her to have to suffer any more than she already has.
If this were the best of all possible worlds, BJ would be found innocent. But unfortunately, the evidence is not stacked in her direction. So we do the next best thing. We examine what we have left and we cut our losses. Now, the difference in the sentencing here is huge. It could either be a short prison term, maybe even probation, versus God knows how long a stretch. As far as I'm concerned, the choice is obvious.
Well, as far as you're concerned, that's very easy to say, Rhys. And for you, too. Because you don't have to get on a witness stand in front of a jury and say, I killed a man. Think about this. What happens when the prosecution asks her what happened that night? And there's no memory. Every time she says, I don't know, it's a strike against her. In the jury's mind and in the judge's mind.
But if she pleads guilty now, she won't have to get on the stand.
But that leaves her completely defenseless then. If she admits she did it, it's over. Her innocence is gone. She may get her memory back, but she'll never get that back, ever. If you give up on yourself, it'd be like going to jail, because after today, you will never be free again.
I don't know what to do.
I'll tell you what to do. You tell the truth, as much as you know.
You won't give up on me?
I'll never do that. Come on, let's go back inside.
You got your second wind? I think so. Me too. Julia, before we go back in the courtroom, there's something I think that you should know. I'm not guilty.
Good. Let's go inside and prove it.
Nurse, so who paged me?
I did, Dr. DeAngelis. We have an emergency appendectomy.
Where's Dr. Bruner?
Out sick. And Dr. Mara says her hand's full with a preemie in ICU.
So we got a John Doe?
Apparently he collapsed in a shopping mall. No identification. There's security guards there, called the ambulance.
Okay, I don't need a bio to remove a ruptured appendix. I'll tell you what, we'll find out who he is after surgery. Well, let's grab.
Your mother was out somewhere in the stratosphere. When I called her name, nothing. All of a sudden, she comes back to Earth like she never left.
She's done that with me once or twice recently.
She says she's been taking these pills that were prescribed for headaches. How long have I known your mother? She never has any headaches. I called Dr. Nybert and asked him what he prescribed for her. He says, I haven't seen her in a year. So who the hell's been giving her the pills?
Did you come up with anything on that background check you ran on Ken Mathis? I didn't come up with very much on mine.
Yes, I came up with a little something. But he's covered his tracks pretty well. Why, do you think he's the one giving her the pills?
There was this one night, Dad. Mom was alone, and she fell, and she hurt herself. I don't know how she managed to do it because she was really out of it, but she called me. When I was there, I asked her if she'd had anything to drink, alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
And she said she had a glass of wine because she had taken some kind of an herbal vitamin with it. And when Ken finally did show up, he was gone for almost 2 hours. He said he was at the store, and he shows up with this very small bag of groceries.
What are you suggesting?
I don't know. I don't know. Except there was another night. It was barely 9 o'clock when I was over there. Mom was fast asleep on the sofa. Now you know what a night owl she is. And as I was coming in, Ken was just leaving. And the whole thing just struck me as very strange. And I can't help but think that somehow Ken is responsible.
If he's giving her anything, I swear to God, I'll kill him.
Daddy, you can't do anything until we have some proof that something is going on.
What are we supposed to do? Go up to and ask him? Your mother would have a fit knowing we accuse him of anything like this.
No. There's other ways of getting information, right, Dad? After all, I am my father's daughter.
In the night in question, you were out on the mesa for approximately how long?
30 minutes, no more than that.
And the area that you canvassed, how large was it?
Not large, 1/4 of an acre, maybe less.
Was the moon out?
It was a full moon, bright as day.
So visibility was good?
For miles.
So you would have been able to see BJ out there?
Objection. Counselor, rephrase the question and I'll let it stand.
On this clear, moonlit night, did you see BJ out there?
No, I did not.
But you were in close enough range to the murder scene that you actually heard the gunshots?
Yes.
How many gunshots were there?
4.
4. During the time that these gunshots occurred, did you see BJ arriving or leaving the scene?
No. The 2 times that I did see her was once back at the motel room and once right after Frank had died.
I appreciate how difficult this is for you, Officer Walker. You're doing fine. Thank you. No more questions.
Your witness, Counselor?
Mrs. Walker, you testified just now that you never saw the accused out on the desert. But her own brother, Sawyer, testified that he did see her running across the mesa. Was he lying?
He had been through quite an emotional ordeal that night. It's possible that he may have been mistaken in what he saw.
Is it possible you may have been mistaken in what you didn't see? You'd had quite a night yourself.
Yeah, that's true. My son is hardly more than a boy. I'm an experienced police officer. I trust my powers of observation. I'm able to keep a cool head. But you cannot expect an 18-year-old boy who's been through a nightmare like that to not be subjective.
No, of course not. Under the circumstances, I'd say your son's performance was nothing short of remarkable. But in essence, then, one of you is lying.
No, what I said was that he may have been mistaken.
Why should we take your word for it?
Because I'm under oath.
So is your son.
I know what I saw.
Would you do anything for your children, Mrs. Walker?
Careful. Do you mean would I lie to protect them?
Well, it's a mother's basic instinct to protect her children no matter what the cost, isn't it?
I don't understand your question.
Well, let me see if I can clarify it for you. At one point, your son was arrested and jailed for the murder of Frank Goodman. He escaped, became a fugitive. And you, Mrs. Walker, a sworn officer of the law, kept his whereabouts a secret, didn't you?
No, I didn't know where he was. Not until much later.
When you did find him, did you notify the police? Did you contact Agent McCabe of the NIB?
No, but by that time...
By that time, your daughter had been arrested on the same charge. Now, if you were willing to lie to protect your son, why shouldn't the jury believe that you would offer the same protection to your daughter in the form of another lie? Let me ask again, Mrs. Walker, keeping in mind the hefty penalty for perjury levied by this court, and of course, as a sworn officer of the law. On the night Frank Goodman was murdered, on that clear, moonlit night, did you see your daughter, B Jay, running across the mesa?
Well, where should we start?
How about the hair? I was thinking of maybe some reddish gold streaks.
What's he getting?
Grayer by the minute.
Ooh, I like a man who's shy. Follow me, lover. Let me ask you a question, just idle curiosity. Could you make me look like her?
Well, we have been known to perform miracles.
Excuse me?
What I mean is, we'll see what we can do, but you're really quite a looker, you know, in your own right, if you don't mind me saying so. What on earth do you want to change for?
Well, now that I've got Lionel, I want to keep him.
All right then, big boy. You ready for your rub down?
Well...
I'll bet his wife doesn't know he comes here. And I bet he doesn't just come here for the dye job, if you know what I mean. Hey, mister, you forgot your ring. Well, this looks awfully familiar. This is the ring I gave Lionel. And he's here two-timing me with that Lola Lolita? I'll give him a rub down he'll never forget.
Hi, darling. This is such a nice surprise.
Sure it's not a bad time?
No, it's a very good time. I was going to call you, actually. To apologize for the terrible behavior of mine this morning.
Yeah? Yeah. How's your suit?
It's fine, just like you said it would be. It's just It's fine. I don't know what was wrong with me, but you didn't have to come and check up on me. Come all the way over here.
Oh, come on. I'm not checking up on you.
Oh, sit down. I'm just kidding. Sit down. Make yourself comfortable. What can I get you? I was just going to have some lemonade or iced tea. Would you like something?
No, I don't want anything. Well, I want to ask you something, except I don't want to make you mad at me again.
No, no, no.
Why were you so upset this morning?
Really? Your father?
Why?
He and I had a fight about Ted's engagement. And a little while later, I saw the two of you over with your heads together. And I felt excluded. I felt out of the loop. And I also felt a little guilty.
Why'd you feel guilty?
Because since the divorce, you and Ted have had the misfortune of having to choose sides. And I know that you're very close to your father. And I just don't want your relationship with your father to be hurt because of some misguided loyalty toward me.
Misguided loyalty? You're my mother. I love you. And I love Daddy, too, but my heart's big enough for both of you.
He still, worries about me. Do you know that? He still cares about where I am, what I'm doing, who I'm with. Would you give him a message for me, please? Just tell them that I'm all right and to get on with his life and quit worrying about I know, I've been crying so much. I get on these crying jags. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Why don't you go to Dr. Nybert and get a checkup?
No, I don't need Dr. Nybert and a checkup. I need a glass of lemonade or iced tea or something. I'll be right back. I'm going to get it something to drink. I'll be all right.
Only 2. Maybe she won't remember how many she had left.
No. I did not see my daughter on the desert the night Frank was shot.
Quiet, or I'll have the courtroom cleared.
Your Honor, I object to this line of questioning. There's a big difference between cross-examination and calling the witness a liar.
Mr. Arnold, you're walking a very thin line. I caution you not to cross it.
I apologize to the court and to this witness, Your Honor. With the court's forbearance, I'll go back to an earlier question and rephrase it. Mrs. Walker, regarding your son Sawyer, during any time that the police were searching for him as a fugitive and suspect in this particular case, did you know where he was?
Yes.
I'm not sure the jury heard you.
I said yes. Eventually, I knew where he was.
Thank you. No further questions?
Miss Capwell, would you wish to redirect?
No, thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions at this time.
It's going to be all right. I promise you, it's going to be all right. I hope this isn't what you meant by B J having her day in court. Because if it is, she's in trouble. Big time.
Well, it's nice to see pushing papers hasn't cramped your style. I wish all the doctors were as meticulous as you.
Thank you. This John Doe, is he a local?
Like I said, we don't know anything about him. Why? Do you think you know him?
I didn't get a good look at his face, but there's something about him. Ah, never mind. I'll tell you what. Keep him on the IVs. Let's go with amoxicillin. Well, you know, I better hold off on that just in case he's allergic. We'll wait till he's regained consciousness.
Doctor? Is anything wrong?
No, it's nothing. It's just that I can't shake it. There's something about this person. I just feel like I've known him from somewhere.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Oh, I'll get that in the kitchen. That was Ken. He's coming home for lunch. Do you want to stay and have lunch with us?
I can't. I forgot about a board meeting I have. I can't believe it just completely slipped my mind.
You're getting just like me. I can't remember anything anymore. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Maybe it's the water supply in Santa Barbara. Anyway, I'll take a rain check on lunch, okay? And I'll call you tonight.
Oh, okay. Okay. Don't worry about me. You know, Ken's around to do that, okay? Okay.
Say hi to him.
I love you.
I love you too. And I'll give Daddy your message.
What message? Okay. All right, thanks. Good.
Bye.
Bye.
Shake it.
Detective Walker, do you have any specialized training?
Well, from 1986 to 1991, I served as instructor in forensics at the police academy. I also coach inner-city youth teams in a variety of sports.
Do you like police work?
It's a love-hate relationship, I guess. I hate the underbelly of a lot of things I see in the course of my job, but I strongly believe I make a difference.
So do I. Thank you. Your witness, counselor?
Mr. Walker.
It's not that I stand on ceremony, but I worked very hard to become detective. I might as well start earning my money.
Detective Walker. You just mentioned forensics training. That was Frank Goodman's specialty, wasn't it?
Yes.
In fact, it was at his urging that you took up forensics.
That's true.
And I understand he helped you build your house in Coral Gables?
Yes, he did.
And he started a college fund for both your children?
Yes. But that money has since been returned to his estate.
With interest?
I think the word I would choose is disgust.
The witness will answer the question.
No. The money was not repaid with interest.
Isn't it a fact that you and he were friends, good friends? More than friends, more like family.
At one time.
You know, there's a saying that all happy families are alike. Would you describe your family as happy?
For the most part.
Well, how is it that this happy family went for 10 years in complete ignorance of the alleged sexual relationship between your daughter and your best friend?
This alleged sexual relationship consisted of Frank Goodman molesting my daughter whenever he felt like it.
Well, we don't really know who did what to whom, do we?
Your Honor.
Sustained.
Withdrawn. Detective Walker, how would you characterize your relationship with your daughter?
We're very close.
So close that you had no idea that your daughter and your best friend were having an affair.
It was not an affair. He abused her.
But as an officer of the law, with years of experience and trained observation to your credit, you failed to see what was going on right under your own roof. Yes or no?
Yes.
And how can we believe what you thought you saw in the Mesa that night?
I object.
Sustained.
Withdrawn. No further questions.
Counselor, redirect.
Not at the moment, Your Honor.
The witness may step down. Call your next witness.
Your Honor, I respectfully request a 15-minute recess.
We have just returned from lunch.
I realize that, Your Honor, but it's imperative that I confer briefly with my client before we resume.
Mr. Arnold, have you any objections?
None at all, Your Honor. Defense counsel can take as long as she likes.
15 minutes will more than suffice.
Granted.
Court is hereby recessed for 15 minutes.
What was that all about?
We lost a lot of ground, not to mention credibility, during Arnold's cross. And there's only one way to get it back.
By calling me to the stand.
Mm-hmm. That certainly is the right spot.
Let me do the work, lover.
Hey. Oh, that's terrific. Yep. That's good. Oh. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, boy, boy.
Tell me where it hurts, lover. Where's the right spot?
Gina! What are you doing?
Don't act all innocent with me.
What?
I heard you in here with Miss Lulu.
Lola!
Whatever. Where does it hurt? Let me do the work, honey. How long has this been going on, Lionel?
Well, how long has what been going on?
What do you think I am? An idiot? You and Miss Let My Fingers Do the Walking. Come on, what's going on here, Lionel? I know the difference between a massage parlor and a beauty parlor.
Gina, I was just doing it to please you.
You were doing it for Miss Clairol.
What that do? No. I was doing this, but look, I just wanted to look better for you. You know, younger and more in tone and everything like that. That's what I was doing.
Really?
Yeah.
For me, huh?
Yeah.
Gee, I don't know what to say. I've never heard anything so...
So considerate, so
So-
thoughtful, so sensitive, maybe? Huh?
Egotistical, vain, petty.
What? What are you talking about?
Lionel, I don't care about any of that. You think that's what matters to me?
It doesn't? Well, you do that for me, though.
Lionel,
Huh.
I fell in love with you just the way you are. I want the old Lionel.
Yeah?
Now, I don't care about the wrapping. I care about the gift inside.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh.
Mm.
The gift inside?
Mm-hmm.
And no wrapping? Just natural?
Do you think that I should testify? BJ, I think that you need to take the stand as soon as possible. Rhys and Jody saw what they saw, but Arnold's questioning cast a formidable shadow of a doubt on their testimony. I need you to make the jury believe that they were telling the truth.
But BJ doesn't remember everything that happened that night.
That doesn't matter right now. We need BJ to convince the jury that despite everything that's happened to her, that she was and is incapable emotionally and mentally of pulling that trigger, and this is not going to be easy.
Well, I don't see what choice we have.
We can still change the plea to guilty.
No, that's not an option.
This is not for you to decide, Warren. This is up to BJ.
Mom, Dad, I know you think that I should plead guilty and hope for leniency. But I'm just not sure that I'm ready to do that yet. And I'm also not sure that I'm ready to take the stand and try to convince a bunch of strangers that I'm innocent. I can't beg to be believed. And I can't show the jury what my soul has forgotten, but only what's still there.
Well, then you've got to do what's right in your soul, what feels right. See, because we all love you here. But that doesn't matter, because if you're not right with yourself...
BJ, I'm sorry the 15 minutes is almost up. You're going to have to let me know what you've decided.
Well, I still have a question, too. I need to know if it's possible to be both innocent and guilty.
What is it, Doctor?
It's my son, Liz. It's my son.
Hi.
Hey, where did you run off to?
Well, I went to Mom's, and I feel like a rat.
Why?
I took this from her pill box when she walked out of the room. It's the medication that she's been taking for her headaches.
Terrific. I'll take it to Dr. Micah DeAngelis, let him analyze it.
Well, if you don't mind, Dad, I'd actually like to take it to somebody who's privy to Mom's situation. At least I know he'll be discreet.
Okay. Tell him to put a rush on it, though, all right?
Okay. Oh. That's for Mom.
Mom said that?
Well, not in so many words, but, well, you get the idea.
See you, honey.
All rise. Court is now in session.
Be seated. Miss Capwell, are you prepared to call your next witness?
Your Honor, I'd like to call B.J. Walker to the stand.
B.J. Walker? Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
His wife wants him to sleep with her friends. Meet happily married women who like to watch their husbands have sex with other women. Today at 2 on Jenny Jones.